For our United Way Spotlight of the Week, I'm joined by Patna Varna, who is the CEO of United Way. Welcome. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Donna.
So we're going to talk about Success by Six, which is a wonderful program, but like everything, you've had to do a little pivot. So what has changed this year?
So our Success by Six week used to be such fun. We had about 200 events for every kind of event, from environment to reading to just having some fun. And obviously we can't do that anymore with all the restrictions. But what we also acknowledge is that there's a lot of stress happening right now with children and youth particularly. And we wanted to give families some ideas of things they could do in fun caricature pictures so that kids can look at that and firstly recognize that they're not alone. That there are others going through what they're doing, and little things like, FaceTiming with your granddad, gardening, playing restaurant with your parents, father, caregiver, just little things like that to lighten up the tone a bit.
It has been a long time, and in a kid's world, a year is a very, very long time. So they probably think they can't remember when life was any different. And are people seeing? Are you hearing about behavioral problems or mental illness or mental health issues, I should say, with young children?
Yes, we are actually. So Dr. Tess Clifford from the Queen's Psychology Clinic has approached us, and we've heard it from our agencies as well, that young children are having a really hard time. Mental health is a concern. So again, we're suggesting that parents and families and caregivers reach out for help. On our website, we actually have some resources like the multi-center resolve counseling that they can reach out to. And there are programs that are free. If people have a hard time paying, we do have free counseling subsidized by the United Way. So again, it's important that people reach out and recognize that the children may be struggling, and the agencies can help walk them through what they can do simply, or maybe it may be intensive counseling. We also recognize with youth the same thing. So again, Dr. Tess Clifford has shared with us that youth and children are struggling. So with youth, again, it's their whole life is built around peers. Being isolated is making them anxious. Schoolwork is making them, frankly, overwhelmed and tense in many cases. So again, we've got some simple tips on our website, and we're encouraging them to share what works for them so other teens can help as well. So quarantines, KFL&A, if they go to our website, again, we've got some tips of things that might be able to help them.
A lot of people used to think that a child under 6, stress was that's just not something that happens to children under age 6, but we changed our thinking on that. What are some of the things, the behaviors that a child under 6 could start exhibiting where parents might think, well, they're just misbehaving, but in fact there's a real reason there? What are some of the things they might be doing?
I think parents know their children best. So if parents or caregivers are finding that there are some behavior patterns that are unusual, whether the child is withdrawn or acting up, they should seek professional help. And again, it may be nothing. It may just be the age they're going through. But again, public health, multi-center resolve counseling, and their family doctor can certainly help them identify where there is cause for concern and where they need to explore some more assistance.
I know there was something on the website under your Success by Six, and it was reading to a child. And I really love that idea. I was raised with books, and normally you'll see a parent sitting there and they're reading, a book that the child can read on their own. But then there's the other part of it, and that is the classics. So those wonderful books that I was raised on. My favorite was Little Women. I so wanted to be Joe March.
I could see you as Joe.
And that was a few years ago. But it also leads to a discussion on what was it like 150 years ago to be a teenager and to be a young person. And Black Beauty and Treasure Island. And there's some wonderful books that hold up. There's still Swiss Family Robinson. Wouldn't that be interesting? Is when you think about it, it's the story of a family living in COVID, where the isolation and the having to make do and
it's tough because parents are stressed themselves, I'm sure, and they're also struggling with trying to normalize a lot of things and a lot of effort. But any time they can take with their children is really important. We know that, everyone knows that. But again, just gives them a little chance to talk and create a sense of specialness with their child. Again, take the time, make the moments matter. And again, some of our tips like reading or playing fort with a box, you don't need a lot of extra electronic equipment, or you don't have to pay a fortune. There's simple things that kids love, and they can use their imagination and have fun. But the main thing is doing it intentionally and recognizing how important it is for children and youth at this time to have that kind of attention.
Absolutely, and visiting with grandparents over Zoom is a wonderful idea. They miss each other a lot, and that'd be And then the other project that I read about is quarantine. So
yes,
it's what, grade 12 roughly on up. So
yeah, it's for teenagers basically. It's quarantines. Jen Cameron from BM Dodo came up with that idea, and it's a great idea. It was very catchy. And again, on our Quarantines KFL&A page, we have a lot of tips and resources that teens and their families can access. Where do you go if you have substance use issues? Where do you go for counseling? There are limited spaces for limited agencies that provide youth counseling, addictions, mental health, food, whatever the needs are. So we've listed some of the resources. Of course, they can always call 211 and find out more. But this kind of lists the ones we think that teens will find most useful.
So, well, it's wonderful, and good for you guys for pivoting when through this. And I hope it comes to an end soon, but in the meantime, so if somebody out there is interested in any of these programs, and I went through the whole thing and I thought, wow, I wouldn't have thought of a lot of this stuff. So it's really great to take a look, so they can reach you through your website, take a look and see what the suggestions are and the materials available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if people have suggestions, feel free to let us know what you've done that's been fun for you and your kids. We're always open to that. And Jen is a great designer, and she can add more to our website. And again, it's really important that people know we have these amazing agencies out there. They just have to reach out and access them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks, Donna. Take care.
And you.